Sweet Explorer here, your wonderful favorite solo woman traveler, and today I'm going to give you the rundown on my Barbados solo adventure. So stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you a guide for planning a solo trip to Barbados. So I'm going to talk about planning and prep, safety, things to do, and all those things you need to know before you plan your solo adventure to Barbados. So let's get into today's video. Before we do, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified when all of my videos release. I talk about all things travel in Atlanta here on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Now let's get into today's video. Okay, first up, we're going to talk about the planning and the prepping for Barbados, okay? So just to give you a rundown, I am coming from the USA, so I'm flying from Atlanta, so it gives you some reference of what I'm thinking about when I am referring to things in this video. So if I'm talking about safety, it's in relevance to my safety here in the US. And also I do have notes down below here. So if you ever see me look down, it's because I just want to remember what I want to talk about. So first up, for planning and prep, coming from the US, you need a passport to get into Barbados. And you do not need a visa if you're going for travel, vacation, holiday reasons. Now, the best time to visit Barbados is recommended to visit between December and April. Is their drier season, meaning it's not raining as much. I went at the end of November, which I think I saw rain pretty much every day, but it's always quick rain, enough to get you soaked and wet, but it will clear up and it'll be sunny for most of the day. Now, you may find deals at other times of the year. Be mindful of hurricane season. You do not want to necessarily travel during hurricane season because you never know if one may go in the route of, or Barbados may be in the route of a hurricane. For me, as I mentioned, I'm flying from Atlanta. I flew Delta. Delta actually reinstated when I went to Barbados. They had just reinstated their daily flight route to Barbados from Atlanta. So that's what I took, but there are other airlines and other options of flying into Barbados. And also there's a variety of places to stay. I stayed at the Hilton Barbados Resort, which you can see a full tour of that video here on my channel. I have that link below. But there's a lot of different resorts. There are high-end names, there are local names, more apartment style. Whatever you're looking for and the budget you're looking for is available in Barbados. Just make sure you do your search, your due diligence to make sure it is the right property for you. Now, when it comes to where to stay on the island and safety of neighborhoods, I never was told there was like a bad neighborhood. You know, like here in the US, we have quote unquote bad neighborhoods that you hear people say. And we'll talk a little bit more about safety in the next area. But when you're looking at neighborhoods or where to stay in Barbados, I would recommend, especially as a solo woman traveler, staying where you can get around easily, where you may not always need to have a car and rely on others to get there. I stayed at the Hilton Barbados Resort, which, you know, it could have been closer to some other areas, but it was still close enough to get to the beaches. It was close to Bridgetown. If I wanted to walk into Bridgetown and take my time, I could have, but it just would have taken forever for me, and I didn't want to do that. But there was other things that I could do in my vicinity. There are other areas in the island, on the island, where there may be resorts. I know there's some resorts that are closer to the airport. That may not be as convenient to get into more activity. So it may not be the best for a solo traveler, but it may be great for a family. So look at what you want when you're traveling and looking for neighborhoods to stay, but you don't really necessarily have to be mindful of the safety of those neighborhoods. You need to look at more of the location and what you want to do. And then when it comes to packing, obviously pack all your necessities, but just some reminders of things you should pack when you go to Barbados. Barbados has a lot of sunshine. It's going to be hot there at any time of the year, so make sure you have your sunscreen, and make sure you have sunscreen that is not harmful for coral reefs. You also want to make sure you have like more lighter clothes. So not like, you don't want to wear this, obviously a sweater, but you don't want clothes like it may be short sleeves, but it has a thicker fabric. You want something that's a little more lightweight, that still protects you from the sun, but won't make you sweaty along the way. Take a hat if you can to kind of protect your face from the sun, and sunglasses. You also want to make sure you have comfortable shoes if you're walking around, and possibly an umbrella because it will rain sometimes, especially if you're going during the rainy season. Oh, And make sure you pack your charger for your phone, because for once I actually forgot my charger and I had to go to iMart to buy a phone charger the first night I was there. Luckily, I had noticed I didn't have it and was able to get there before it closed. And the last thing I want to mention as you start planning and prepping for your trip to Barbados is that it could potentially get costly. Barbados can be very costly. Now, I want you to be mindful that it is a Caribbean country. It is an island country. So they don't have the plethora of resources that we have in the US. They have their own resources, but not like what a larger nation will have, like the US. Therefore, there's a lot of things that do get imported into the island. And when things get imported into the island, what does that mean? The price goes up because they have to pay those duties and tariffs and all of those things. So things could be more costly. So when I was looking at food at restaurants, it was pretty similar to what it was here in the US, if not more expensive. And I'm looking at a perspective, obviously, from Atlanta, which is a major city, and it was similar in cost, if not more. So definitely be mindful of that, because you could end up spending too much money if you do not pay attention to what you're spending on a daily basis and do not have a budget for it. Now, in this segment, we're going to talk about the safety. In a moment, we will get into more fun things for the planning, like things to do and all of that. But let's get into the safety part of Barbados. So like I mentioned, I never really had a concern, or there isn't really a concern about traveling around the island as a solo woman. People are so friendly there. They want to talk. They want to get to know you. They want to laugh and smile and just be joyful people, which is great. It definitely is a great experience, especially coming from the US, where things could be always just go, 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 especially in the city. It's not like there. You're going to be a little more relaxed and laid back. But you still need to have common sense. When I say common sense, don't just take your luxurious items and wear them and flash them around the country. You're already a tourist. You have an accent. They know you're not from there. Don't make yourself more of a target. Do not leave your room unlocked, or the door to your balcony to your room unlocked. Don't go to the beach, and especially as a solo traveler, you may not be able to get in the ocean without leaving your bag behind on the beach. You do not want to do that. So if you really want to get in the ocean and relax, leave all the stuff that is valuable to you, so your money, cards, whatever, in the room, and just go get in the ocean. Or take a dry bag with you so you can take your belongings with you, like your phone, your money, whatever. So definitely be mindful of those things, because petty theft can happen anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be just Barbados, right? So let me talk about transit real quick. When it comes to safety, you want to make sure you're able to get around. You don't want to be stranded out somewhere. You go out for dinner and then it gets late and it's dark and you don't know how to get home, because there isn't ride sharing. You can't just open your app and go to Uber, Lyft, FreeNow, whatever the ride sharing company is, and order you a car to get you back to your accommodation. So you need to plan ahead. You need to be able to walk on your 2 feet to wherever you need to go. You need to rent a car. And mind you, they do drive on the left side of the road because they were a British colony. And you could take a bus. They do have a bus system there. I don't know much about it. I didn't take it. Or you can order a taxi. For the most part, I used taxis or walked. And whenever I had a taxi, I just got one from the hotel. They usually had taxis right at the hotel, and they will go order it for you and negotiate that price. And then you would get the phone number or business card from that driver, so you can call them and tell them when you're ready to go back to your hotel or wherever else you want to go. Health. When I talk about health, there's a lot of countries in the world where you need to have certain vaccinations in order to enter their country. There isn't any for Barbados for people coming from the US. So definitely look that up if you're coming from a different country, if there's any other types of vaccinations or health precautions that you need to have when entering Barbados. And of course, you want to make sure you have your emergency contacts. As a solo woman traveler, I usually give someone in my family back at home my full itinerary, and I turn on my location so they know when and where I'm supposed to be for most of the time I'm there. And obviously they have my phone number. My phone still works in other countries. Definitely make sure your phone does. If it doesn't, you need to make sure you have Wi-Fi or find some local phone access that you can get to. Also, you may want to have, if you like your government entrusted, still have the local embassy number available as an emergency, and any emergency contact numbers of Barbados to call emergency, or your hotel. Make sure you have that number readily available. So that was all about the safety and the preparation and the getting ready for Barbados and what you need to be mindful of. But now let's talk about the fun things, the activities. So we're going to jump into exploring Barbados. So again, I have my notes here so I can remember everything, but here are some must-see activities, things to do, must-see things while you're in Barbados. So Barbados is where rum originates from. So you definitely want to check out their rum distilleries. I believe there are 4. I went to 2 while I was there, and I highly recommend, if you want to go to more than one distillery, just go on a rum tour. I booked a rum tour. I'll have it linked below. And they would take you they would pick you up from your hotel, take you to both of the distilleries, and then take you back home. So you don't even need a designated driver. They have that for you. You must go to the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. I always love going to museums and learning more about the history of that island. I remember learning about that a lot of their water filtration goes through the coral system. And I was like, this is interesting because it's different than obviously what it is back home. And so you get to learn a lot more of the history there, from the natural landscape as well as their military and any other special exhibitions going on. And they also have a kids exhibit there as well. Definitely explore Bridgetown. That is the capital of Barbados. They have a lot of restaurants and shops. They have a big duty-free street in Bridgetown. So you could literally just walk around and explore. And there's also another street where the locals go and sell their items in a market. So a lot to explore in Bridgetown. And by the way, you could take a food tour. So I took a food tour, which was through Bridgetown. So you kind of got to learn the history, you got to see Bridgetown, as well as try food from 6 different places while in Bridgetown. So it was definitely a wonderful experience. And speaking of food, definitely go to Oystins. And if you are in Barbados over a Friday and you love to be around crowds, go to Oystins for their Fish Fry Fridays. Everyone is there, all the booths are open, music is playing, and it's a good vibe. I didn't get to go because I wasn't there on a Friday. I found out about it after I booked my trip, but I did go to Oystins. I went to one of the stalls. It was called Pat's, and the fish was delicious. I can definitely see how that place is a great time on a Friday. Speaking of that, Barbados and their food is delicious. You do get a lot of food. Let me just warn you. You will have a lot of food. Every meal gives you so much food. So when you think about, oh, I'm not that hungry, I'm just gonna order this side of fries and these spring rolls, that's a meal for 2 people. It gives so much food. All of it's good, just a lot of food. So plan accordingly. But another great place to eat, which was a nice food stall near the Hilton Resort in Barbados, which was Cuz Cafe. This was not, the food portion was not that big there, which was grateful. That was probably the only place that did not have a lot of food on a plate. But they had these wonderful fish sandwiches. And I'm pretty sure like 3 or 4 people or locals told me about Cuz Cafe and that I needed to eat there. So definitely try that out. And then lastly, if you are a Rihanna fan, you want to go by her childhood home. If you do go by her childhood home, definitely go there early in the morning before all the tour companies start going around, because that street will get backed up. Very small, narrow street, and it will be miserable. You won't be able to get pictures, whatever. So go early in the morning to go to her childhood home. Now, let's talk about some beach and water activities. So definitely recommend going on a catamaran cruise. I went with Tiami, I hope that's how you say it. They have a dinner catamaran cruise as well as a lunchtime one. I went on a dinner catamaran cruise because it went during the sunset, and it was wonderful. You get drinks on top of drinks, so you can drink as much as you want. It seems like I never was told, no, we still have more rum punch to go. We were able to go snorkeling with the sea turtles, got to see the sunset, and they had a lot of food, like a really big buffet of food. And it was such a great time on the cruise. And of course they had wonderful music and the staff was great. Another great water beach activity is going over to Pebbles Beach in the morning from like 5:30 to 7:30 or 8. You can see the racehorses go over to the beach and actually go into the sea. So they become like some seahorses, but they go over, get in the ocean to help relax their muscles. It's very therapeutic for them. And you can actually help bathe them and just have a good time with the horses there. There's a lot of beaches in Barbados. At the Hilton Resort that I stayed at, there was a beach right behind, but you couldn't really swim there often because of the high waves. But Pebbles Beach was right across the street and it's very calming. You could swim there. There's also Carlisle Beach, which is, I think, their most popular beach in Barbados. So if you want to go to that beach, you could check it out. But there's plenty of other beaches in Barbados to see as well. Also, if you like to go out and you want to have a good time and have music, I did not get to go. Talked about it with someone on the catamaran cruise, and they recommended Savi on the beach. So they have a lot of bars, they have live music, entertainment at Savi on the beach as well. So those are some just quick rundown of things to do. I'll have links below in the description box if you want to book any of these things or want to know more. Okay, explorers, so that was my Barbados solo adventure guide. So I gave you a rundown, a guide to help you plan your solo trip to Barbados. So we talked about what you need to look forward to when you get to planning and preparing for your trip, the safety in Barbados, and most importantly, must-see attractions and activities, water activities, beach activities in Barbados. Obviously, there's a plethora of other things that you can do in the country, but those are some things that you definitely want to check out while you're there and things that you need to be mindful of. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. It is free for you to do so, and it helps me provide more and better content to you in the future. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Make sure you share this video with your friends, family, and your social media networks, as they may want to learn more about Barbados for their future trip to Barbados. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, you can leave me a little tip by hitting the thanks button down below. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever in the world you are. Bye.